that option, but
There you go.
okay. So hi everyone. This is our second community call, and we have Hendrik so far. So hi Hendrik, would you like to
Hello.
introduce yourself?
Nice to meet you all. My name is Hendrik. I'm a university student from Brazil in the University of São Paulo. I'm currently researching in imaging from electromagnetic imaging in resonance magnetics. And our project is very tied with Spyders to develop an ecosystem for developing imaging sequences. So like we program the spectrometer, and to program the spectrometer, we use an IDE, and we chose to use Spyder as our main base IDE for that. And I'm responsible for developing the plugins for Spyder to encapsulate and make the whole framework usable with Spyder.
Cool. So it's like you're using a Spyder like LabVIEW replacement or something?
Something like that. It's more like a framework, like you have an experiment for imaging, like you need to develop the sequence, program the spectrometer, and it's a very specific language that it's tidy. It's very, it's different from Python, but we use Python also. So it's like a framework like for a new language. So I developed a language server to use the modules and the syntax and everything else, and also add new panes to show the output of the spectrometer and something like that.
That
So
sounds awesome.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, if you would like, because
I was gonna say, can you show it? I don't know
exactly.
if you can.
I think I can show you, but I can't show you the experiment working. I can just show you the interface.
So the thing is that Isabella is working right now
make promises.
to help us to improve our default layout for Spyder 6, which we plan to release next year. But I'll let Isabella talk a little bit more about that. So go ahead, Isabella.
Oh, I wasn't going to make promises with that. I just like to know what people are working on. Though knowing what people are working on does always help us make better choices for the UI long term. But yeah, only if you are able to and want to show it. I know demos can be stressful, but we would be excited to see your work if you sound excited about it.
I will try to show you guys. Currently, I was working on the language server, updating some stuff, and I broke the interface, so I need to roll back some things.
Very
no
understandable. But yeah, don't worry either way.
It's fine.
Until the end of this meeting, I might be able to show you guys.
Okay, but if you just want to chat too and not do more of your work, that's fine.
Oh, if it's not like for this meeting itself, I can show you guys. That's no problem. But I will try to show you in time of this meeting. We can also schedule something else just to show you guys. I don't mind that.
Nice. So I guess, I mean, since it seems you are developing a lot of stuff on top of Spyder, I guess you, I mean, well, how did you find the changes in Spyder 5? I mean, we put a lot of effort to improve our API and make it more accessible and easier to extend Spyder in, I mean, most fronts that we found it was possible. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, the most thing that caught my eyes, like there was more excited about, that was the new framework for plugins and the interaction with the panes and the other plugins that were bundled with Spyder, like the interface to work with them. It really helped me like to maintain the plugins. Like when we saw the update, me and my team, we were really excited. And when we saw the new interface because our interface, sorry to say that, but it was more modern than the Spyder interface was at the time, like in the 4 and 3 version. So it was like a little bit different. But now that with the new interface in 5, we could add the buttons and the panes to detached and organized in everything in an organizable way. And with the new plugin framework, it really helped that. I was very satisfied. And also the time improvement, in Spyder 5, we saw that at the second time we would load Spyder, it would really was more efficient. Probably were like logging stuff like using Pickle and some stuff like that to improve the loading time. It was really helpful. Like
That's
and
something that we added in Spyder 5.1, 5.10. It has, well, it has, I mean, a serious bug, but I fixed it quite quickly. But the thing is that, so before we had like hard-coded way of loading plugins. And that was, I mean, yeah, I mean, that, I don't know if you saw at some point our code in the main window. It was like 5,000 lines of code. It was huge. Then what we did with this huge refactoring for Spyder 5 was move as much things to plugins that were present, things that were present in the main window. And also the loading mechanism. It's something that Edgar, one of our co-developers, worked really hard to improve. So the thing is that right now, I mean, we have a central, I mean, a singleton, a central object, exactly, a plugin manager. And then all plugins send, tell this manager, look, I'm ready to be loaded. And then after it loads, it sends a signal to all other plugins.
That's awesome. I was having really trouble synchronizing the plugins in the later version. Yeah, that was really difficult for me. And with this plugin manager and the new manager now, I was using like, you got a new decorator to say, this is required for this another plugin, so wait until another plugin is loaded. Like that was a lifesaver for me. It was really good.
Cool. Yeah, that's the things that, I mean, I don't know, Isabella, would you like to say something? Go ahead.
I was going to ask a different question, so if you want to stay on this topic, that's fine.
Okay, I'm going to finish then. So, I mean, I was about to say that these are the kind of things that, I mean, they are not shown, I mean, in the interface, because things, if we do our job well, then things should be transparent to users, so they wouldn't notice any change. But for developers, go ahead, Henrik.
No, I was just going to say that on the user side, like these improved our constructing the plugin. Like it was really hard to synchronize the panes, like to show in the order, like how it reflects the interface. Our plugin needed to create custom panes and custom windows, and to do that, we needed to synchronize our plugins because it had dependencies. Like we have 4 and 5 plugins for Spyder. So it has a very specific order to load them and to load the Spyder dependency. So it was really hard. And most of the time the plugins were loaded independently. And this helped us create a more user-friendly interface to synchronize the panes and everything else. Like it was really useful. Like adding on the main menu. I was really having trouble adding our buttons into the main menu. But when you with the new plugin manager, like the main menu is a requirement. Now just insert the button on the menu. It was really easy. It was very good.
So they load in order almost like a workflow, like there's almost like a plugin workflow, like that one relies on information from another. That's cool. And so you were saying that the plugin manager helped you set that up, but do you have it set up so that one like waits for the other now?
Yeah, no, not like wait, like it loads, but it waits until specific functions to be available. Like we have a grayed out button when the other plugin isn't available right now because it's still loading. So the buttons is gray, and then when the other plugin's loaded, it became like colored. Or when you use when you load a sequence for a spectrometry to use your experiment, it loads another plugin, and then the button appears. Stuff like that. So the interface not so crowded. It's better, and this was hard to do.
Yeah, the fact
from
that you're
the
getting
version.
feedback from all these different panes and communicating and keeping them communicating throughout is amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's something that so Spider was not designed to be extended in this way, and the idea was simply, I mean, Spider was created. It was not created by me. I became the maintainer, but it was created by Pierre Raibot. The beginning in 2008, I think, or 2009, and the idea was simply to have like a MATLAB clone. That was his aim. And he's a physicist and worked for quite some time at the France Nuclear Institute or something. I really don't know the name. And he is very, very good. I mean, he did almost like what Spider is today, and it was in Spider 3 is basically his work. So he's a very, very good programmer. But at some point, he got busy with his own life and his work. So he told me if I wanted to be the maintainer, I was the main contributor besides him at the time. But yeah, the thing is that the plugins that the Spyder, I mean, that Pierre planned to have as external plugins were things like, for example, Spyder Notebook or Spyder Terminal, which are fully contained plugins. But for example, you were not able to extend menus or the toolbar. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. That explains because when we adopted Spyder to use, like in the early 2 version, when we got like 2018, I wasn't in the team in that field. I entered in 2019, and I remember that we were using a custom branch from Spyder. We cloned the Spyder and we modified the Spyder on hard coded. We created our stuff inside Spyder. When it became more and more modular with time, we just said, "Oh, come on, that's not efficient anymore. Like we need to update the whole code base just for an Spyder update. Now we might just create a plugin for it." And there wasn't any plugin framework when we decided to do that. So like we were just I remember there was we were patching Spyder to load our plugin that we created, and then you created the plugin loader, something like a primitive that it was Spyder plugin, a class, and then you just started the Python with the Python module with Spyder name, and then you and then late became using entry points, and then you create the plugin manager. It was becoming more and more maintainable for it to create plugins, and so we now are just creating plugins for Spyder. That was really good.
Yeah,
and that really helped us. There was some time that we thought of maybe using another editor. We chose Spyder because it was creating all Python, and our framework is also in Python, so that really helped. And like to see that Spyder was becoming more modular, it was a very decisive point for us to continue using Spyder.
Cool. No, that's really nice to hear, because I mean, we put a lot of effort, as I told you, trying to make this architecture work, and but it was not something that we were doing. I mean, just for us up to some point, but it was mainly for the community to allow you to build on top of Spyder, because
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's awesome, because Python is a very easy language to create something, plugins and stuff like that. So to Spyder become more modular, it causes more users to use Spyder that knows a little bit of Python to create their plugins. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Did you say, or did I miss it, how you like found Spyder in the first place?
I don't quite know. Probably because of the professor that searched for all editors that was coded in Python. So Spyder popped out, and he told to search, look into, and my coworkers were like, "Oh, and that's a good editor. We might be able to do something with it."
That's cool.
And what do you think about, Hendrik, about the LSP architecture? We also put a lot
Oh,
of effort
okay.
on that, but
Yeah.
I think you have been involved a lot for your project with that part of.
Yes. Because we need Spyder also to be in a rich a rich programming development interface, like for our language. It needs to do syntax verification, semantic verification, like synchronized objects and custom comments that stuff like that. So we chose how can we integrate our framework to our language to an editor. So we were all using a custom version of our plugin. Was using an, how is it called, a Kitty. We were all doing a new pane that was a new code editor, like what you guys call code editor. We create our own code editor that shows only for our language. That's the F language, not Fortran. It's F or custom name. And our language was using our custom code editor with our syntax and semantics validators and verification. But that was not very good because it wasn't integrated with Spyder other modules. So like the object outlier, the changing in Unicode, like the code format, the file format, we couldn't change that. We couldn't change the end lines. We couldn't use most of the stuff that Spyder does. That's really helpful. The Python debugging, because we couldn't use that, and we couldn't use the project manager that Spyder has. So it was very limited. And when you started using the language server, I said, oh, I can build a language server for this. So I built a language server only to use for Spyder. Later on, our team became using it with Vim and Emacs because the language server became more robust. So, but it was mainly to use with Spyder, and we still do that. We made a patch to Spyder to add our language to connect with Spyder, so Spyder can connect with the language server. That's also something that I'd like to suggest to you guys, add a more modular for the languages, because it's really easy something to do. I don't see the difficulty in that, because it's just 2 keywords that you need to add. There are a global variable that supported the language. Just add another key there. So
if you want to submit a pull request, I mean, you're welcome to do it.
When I have time. That's something that I was in my to-do list. I really wanted to do that because it's not so hard to, but I wanted something to be more integrated with Spyder, language plugin, because you have something like that.
We have thought about that too. I mean, we would like to, I mean, for example, like you say, adding a plugin that adds a new language to our LSP machinery, but we haven't had time to do that. I mean,
no, understandable. Yeah, I don't have time either, but something that I'd like to help. I wouldn't mind helping that. Something that I also would like to do, it's to update Spyder's LSP protocol version. You're currently using 3.15. Yeah, 3.15. There's now in 3.16, and it will soon be 3.17. So it's becoming more outdated. And I made already 3 patches for my server to be compatible with Spyder, but that isn't a real big issue. But I might be in the near time able to help with the updating the version. And for the language server, it really helped the new management that you made for the starting and ending the server.
Mhm.
It was very buggy. The using the
Yes.
SSDIO, it was really bad. That I remember that I needed to use everything in TCP protocol because
Yeah.
it wouldn't function with the IO at all. And now with the language server, I'm able to use the outline plugin, the code editor
Oh,
plugin. I'm
cool.
able to use the project plugin. I'm able to use
Mhm.
everything that Spyder has to offer in the code. So basically, Spyder now really, really a good idea for me and for my project team. Yeah, that.
Um, could I ask you how big is your team? I mean, how many people are
We
working
have
on or using Spider?
15 people.
Oh, it's
Uh,
large.
but we are the developers for the framework. Our
Mhm.
project extends to the University of Minnesota and university in France. I don't know the name, sorry.
Mhm.
And they are also using the Spyder as framework for their research projects on the
Nice.
resonance and magnetic imaging.
Mhm.
Yeah, our lab is the CRMAG lab. I can uh, give the link to you guys of our project, our research project.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thanks a lot.
you can also, if you want to talk more about your project, you can share that instead of the spider, if that's easier
Yeah,
too.
of course.
I'm just
No, no,
saying
Yeah.
people
like
sometimes do that, like lower stakes demo is always welcome as well.
I'm an uni student, so my project's not so big. Like I'm responsible for integrating Spyder with our framework. So like, nah, I know what stuff we do, but I can't really demo everything that we do.
Yes, of course.
I don't know even if I have the clearance to show everything to you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
I
No,
need
don't
to talk
exactly.
with
worry.
my professor. But I can show you the Spyder and the framework we build on Spyder. That's no problem.
Cool. And Hendrik, I mean, I don't know, by any chance, do you work with the Daniel Pizzetto, the maintainer
Yes,
of?
I do. I do. I do.
Oh,
I do.
that's the
Yeah, he's
relationship,
my
of course.
superior. Yeah, yeah, he's my senior.
Oh, because I remember, yeah, I mean, I made the connection only because both of you are Brazilian, but
Yeah.
we met with him several times because I mean, he's the maintainer of Killer Style, and all the improvements
Hmm.
in Spider 5 came mainly through or joint work with Daniel in Killer Style.
Hmm.
So, and I remember that he mentioned, yeah, we have this project and we have this plugin. So I said, well, maybe you are related.
Yeah,
But
we
that's
are
cool.
related. Yeah, so we work on the same project. He's
Nice.
the main developer for the framework, and I
Mm.
am part of the team that integrates the framework with Spyder.
Hmm. Hmm. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, Isabella also knew Daniel, right? Do you remember that
I
we were
mean,
in a couple
yeah,
of
but
meetings?
only in a little bit. Yeah, I when you said new, I thought you implied like knew very well. But no,
Met,
yes, I
no,
know
no,
of.
met, sorry.
I know of, and we talked, yes.
He is very friendly and he helped us a lot with because I mean, especially Isabella and the former developer Juanita came with a
Mhm.
lot of a lot of changes to QRX style. So we
Mhm.
were a bit worried that that could be disruptive to
Mhm.
Daniel's work.
Yeah, he was very patient with both our proposals and many questions about how that fit with the existing. So I was grateful.
Hmm.
Yeah, in fact, the QDark style it was created to use with our framework because we needed like a
Hmm.
dark frame for everything that was white, and the KT only supported white,
Yeah.
and so we mainly use QDark style for our framework to be like a blackened version.
Nice.
And to see it using for Spyder, it was really it was happy for him. I saw that he was really happy with it, and to see more people using it.
Yeah, well, I remember that, I mean, we had a very long thread in one of our issues where people were saying, yeah, why don't you add a darkening and a darkening and a
Yeah.
darkening? And I told them, look, I mean, we would like to rely on an external library to do that instead of maintaining our own team. And Daniel just, I remember like he mentioned, why don't you integrate Spyder with QDark style? And I say, I look at the project and I said, yeah, it looks quite mature. It has good, I mean, a very structured and well done CSS. So I asked one of or another core developer called Daniel to look at the possibility, and he managed to do it in a couple of months. So that's why we integrated it with the Spyder 4.
Yeah, cool. Very good.
Nice.
How did you get into this field, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what brought you to this project? What do you study? This is cool.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. I forgot. Studying computational physics. I'm a physics undergraduate, and I'm currently doing IC. It's I don't know how that is called in like other universities, like a research project. Like I'm part of a lab. I'm not doing the master's, not an doctorate. I'm just like a research student, and I help in the project of visitor thesis and the project that the professor is currently responsible for, and that's developing the spectrometer. And I was looking for the projects that was being made with programming and physics, like I'm in computational physics. So I was looking for projects that was using these main fields. And I came upon the lab, and my professor showed the work, and I was really excited. And I became working on this project. I was developing the framework and the IDE. The IDE that we used and currently using on that I need to maintain is an IDE in Eclipse, like the using Java, the Java framework, and it was really bad. That's a really horrible IDE that we were using. We still do use sometimes. And the IDE that it's using Eclipse, and it was a very old Eclipse. It was Oxygen 2, something like that, and we needed to update it. And the framework that we used on the lab was all in Python. So the professor told me, like, we need to update this IDE. We don't want to use Java anymore. It's really obsolete, like for this type of thing, for modular programming. Our framework is constantly being developed and upgraded, and to do something like Eclipse, it really took a long time to implement in Java. And we needed something more like to help our DevOps to be like more constantly pushing updates. So the professor searched for the IDE in Python, and he told me, "Oh, we have a work to do with Spyder, and we need you to integrate with our framework." And I said, "Okay." that don't seems to be too hard, but it was. But now it's become more easier.
That's always how it starts, right?
Yeah, but with Spyder updates, it became more and more easier. I thank you for that.
That's wonderful. I love hearing what projects people are working on, but especially, I don't know, maybe I have a soft spot for undergrads, and we have so many graduate students and people with graduate degrees around. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Spyder is already becoming popular in my university because of this project, and some professor Python is our main is a language that we need to learn in the uni. We have a field that's like introduction to programming, and we do it in Python. So Spyder became more popular for the freshmen to use, as it's easy to install. Python is easy language. And to do lab work, really to show the graphs and the pie plots, everything on the side pane. That's really hard to do. Even in VS Code, that's not so easy to do, to show the inline plots and to show the plots on the side panel. So everyone became really popular. Spyder became popular with everyone that was doing lab work. And as Python was introduced early to the freshmen, it became really popular. I think that's mainly why all uni students know a little bit know about Spyder, because of integrating with PyPlots and Py. That was really cool and good for the developing project.
So would you say that that's one of like the panes that you use most is the plots pane, or are you using plots in other ways?
No, I mainly use plots painter.
Okay.
Yeah, and but that depends. Like I use the plots pane a lot, but the variable explorer and the files also. And for my lab framework, we also use the variable explorer, the plots, but we have a lot of custom panes that I will show you guys. So like that depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like my class work, I use a lot of plots, and if I'm doing like coding stuff, I'm using Python, the variable explorer, and stuff like that. The Python debugging.
Yeah, you're
Like, I
switching
don't
by
really
task.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah. When you switch by task, do you just do that manually? Like, do you just know what you need open in every moment?
That depends. Like sometimes I do. I'm really like I already know what I need to do, and I'm really like doing that for some time. So the tasks that I do, it's easy to use the Python tasks and just to like open I have a layout for Spyder for different purposes. So yeah, the layout manager is something that I need to highlight too. It became more usable. The Python, the panes, the saving the window layouts, it was hard to do. Now it's easier. It was buggy in the older versions. We couldn't save different layouts and wouldn't load, and now it became easier. We also use window layouts on our plugin, like different layouts when you're using our language and when using Python. So we have like two layouts, and it switches out them automatically depending on the language.
Right, and like because you can only use certain panes.
Sorry, no. I don't think I'm hearing you.
Oh no, my cat baby messing with stuff.
Okay,
don't worry.
No, but now we can hear you, Isabella.
Now you can hear me? Okay, the cat was walking around, so I was like, she may have messed with something on my keyboard. Yes, she's out and about. Yeah, what? I don't remember where I was going. Oh, you were saying it switches like based on language. Is that because, right, certain, panes are different, whether they're custom ones or not, work with certain languages and not with others?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because we have like, when we're using our custom language, we have our custom panels, but we also want to use some of the Python panes like outline, variable explorer, project management. We want the panes to keep, but we don't want to show the help or the IPython console. We don't use it, or the history. But when we are working with Python, we want to know the find, the history, the profiler, the code analysis, and the outline, everything that we want to show it to the user. So that this type of modular and we using the layout framework really helped. It was very buggy on the older versions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some things improved in Qt to better handle doc plugins in layouts, but we also improved that in Spyder 5. Now layouts, it's a plugin. So we move all the logic to handle, save and restore layouts there. But you could also create your own layouts you could create
Mhm.
your custom layouts and register them with Spyder. So you could define them in a
Yeah.
plugin and pass them to
Yes,
Spyder.
yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really helpful. In fact, my professor, he's really like sketchy with the layouts. He wants them in a specific order and position,
Mhm.
and so he was every now and then nagging to me that the layouts wasn't working well, and then
Mhm.
it was suddenly fixed with an update, and I was, oh, thank God. Um,
And the professor was like,
uh,
great work. And you were like, yeah.
that reminds me something that I would like to ask you. Um, I need to ask you a question. Like, I don't know if now I can ask or later on the
No,
development.
go ahead. No problem. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's not on the interface side, more on the coding part, like on the back engine. Does Spyder, do you guys are planning to keep Spyder on Python, or do you guys want to sideload something in C or using like an Python
We
importing objects to speed up things?
to what? Sorry, I didn't get that last part.
No, to speed things up, like
Oh,
because we
yeah.
were having a discussion in the lab, and they were saying like, oh, Spyder should sideload some heavy functions
Yes.
in C and import them in Python. I was like, yeah, that might be a good idea, but I don't know if that breaks with their philosophy of using only Python.
No, we actually need to do that for some tasks. So, for example, we develop a library called PySyntax, which uses. I mean, the thing is that, for example, syntax highlighting in Spyder is very limited because, I mean,
Yes.
we are using right now Pigments to the Pigments Python library to provide syntax highlighting for the languages that for which we don't have like a custom tokenizer. But Pigments was not designed for interactive work. Pigments was designed to, I mean, you just pass a bunch of code and then it returns the tokens so you can pass it to a highlighter. But the process is completely static. So we were exploring options and we found a library in Rust called Syntax, which is extremely efficient to do syntax highlighting, and it is done for, or it was created for interactive work in mind. So we developed bindings for the library, which are called PySyntax, and the idea is to integrate those bindings to Spyder. So you're right. I mean, we are not planning to move to C, but some things we are planning to move to Rust, because Rust is, I mean, it's more maintainable. It allows you to write better code. And right now, the stack or the tool chain to create Python bindings for Rust libraries is very mature and it's very well done. It's like, I mean, it comes with Matrin and PyO3 and a couple of other projects that allows you very easily to create bindings for Rust. So that's our plan,
awesome.
to start moving some key things that
sideloading,
exactly, that doesn't, I mean, that in Python they're done very inefficiently to Rust libraries. So that's one project. Another project, for example, I was exploring just this weekend. That also we would like, for example, to add searching for functionality to the help pane. So right now you can search for objects, but you can search for content. So it will be really nice if we could index all docstrings.
Yes, that's really good. Yeah,
exactly. And in Python there was a library called Whoosh, but unfortunately it became unmaintained some years ago. But there is a really good one called Tantivi on Rust. So our idea will be the same. And that library comes already with Python bindings. So
that's good.
Exactly, extracting all docstrings and then send them to Tantivi so that it creates an index, and then use Tantivi to extract docstrings and show them in the helping. That's a long project, like probably 2 or 3 years, but we are already exploring what to do about that. Go ahead.
Oh, that's really helpful for information. Thank you. and that will let the Spyder be more like modular on the plugins, and using like more core, like multi-core interface architecture. Because currently
Yes.
Python is only running on one core. We see that a lot. Then when Spyder opens, it takes a heavy load on the processor, on just one or two cores of the processor, and like helping the sideload some things will help achieve more a multi-processing layout. That's really good to know. And do you guys have any plan on achieving like something like on multi-processing and on stuff doing with Python, like side loading with async framework?
We explore that for example, in the edit some months ago, because the editor was really slow, and the problem is that we are faced with the GIL in Python. So
okay, yeah, but
that's the main problem.
The Python async module with the plugin management, like using await and async for the plugins that depends on each other.
Yes, we discussed that with Edgar, and we still need to improve a little bit of plugin manager to be able to do that. But in principle, it should be possible.
Yeah. Okay.
We will need to check if in reality how hard it is to move, for example, to use async.io to load plugins. But it could be possible because every plugin is loaded separately from each other.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, GIL is really like not very good. I know the backside for it, but using async.io in Python plugins would really help, like doing the communication between the plugins more efficiently by the Python processor. And also, Spyder currently is compatible with PyPy? Do you know that? Because I tried on the earlier version, on the 4 version, it wasn't. On the 3 also. On the 5.1, it didn't work also. But I didn't test on the latest versions, and I don't know if you guys are planning to support PyPy.
I think it is possible to run PyPy with Spyder. The only thing is that you need to install Spyder kernels on your PyPy interpreter and then connect it through our preferences. But it could also be possible to run Spyder, the whole Spyder interface on PyPy. Because I saw, some months ago that the PySide team on the Qt company, they are trying to compile the Python bindings on top of PyPy. So at some point, it should be possible.
Cool. Yeah, so that would really pretty much like erase our problems with the latency in the code, because we could just our whole framework be adopted in PyPy. That really isn't a problem with us. But I don't know for the other users, the users that use Spyder.
I think, well, most users, they were complaining a lot about problems of latency problems in the editor, but I found most of them in Spyder 5.15 and solved them, most of them. We still, the thing is that to overcome the GIL, we need to develop a client-server architecture to sideload, as you said, heavy CPU operations. So the idea is that, you can use threads for that, because it faces the GIL problem. So what we need to do is to create a server using subprocess, for example, or QProcess in Qt, and then offload or sideload the heavy CPU operations, and then the server will take care of those, and then it will send the results to Spyder, so that Spyder is only in charge of displaying results, not of computing results.
See, that's really good. Also, I think that then the next versions of the language server protocol is planning to sideload more and more to the server. I think that's their philosophy right now. That's really going into sideloading things. And in the next update, like in the 3.17, there is an issue that they're open for the syntax highlighting and tokens. So now they're currently using the 3.16 and new protocol specified for the tokens and semantic objects. And so every tokenization and this part of the stuff that we're doing on the Spyder and on the client side, it are going to be done on the server side. And I think Spyder can really help from that. Like you said, the parts doing on Rust, like the generating the tokens, that could be done all in the language server now. There are Python language servers, the Microsoft Python language servers that's always up to date with the protocol does that now. The pylons, they have all the token and coloring and highlighting everything done on their server side and just outputs to the clients. I think I think some of I don't really have now, but I think there are more things that Spyder do. The outline painter. I already said that in an issue. I don't know if you remember. The outline panel, you guys are needing to sort everything on the Spyder. That really takes some time. When I open a very long code, like 3,000 lines or more, it takes a lot of time to load the outline panel. But if that's done on the server side, it will be very more efficiently.
Right.
It will decrease the load on Spyder. So I think Spyder could benefit from the using the next language server versions.
No, I think that's a good idea. It is really good actually, and yes, there are things that, well, I mean, the whole process just to migrate to the language server was huge, and then stabilizing that, it was also really, really hard because, as you say, for example, we were using. I mean, the first implementation was using subprocess. Then I noticed that, I mean, using QProcess from Qt is way more stable, and that helped a lot. And yeah, on top of that, we have, for example, auto formatting and stuff like that, which also, yeah, it's more functionality that we have to support. But I think at this point, we are almost done with that part in the sense that it feels stable. It doesn't feel so buggy as, for example, 1 year ago.
Yes.
So now we can plan for the future. That's what I was about to say. So yeah, first we needed to make things stable, and then now we can plan for the future. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say that right now Spyder for me is really stable, and like there are some bugs that need to be corrected, but they don't interfere with my work, and I think they don't interfere with most of the work. And for the efficiency issue, I think that you are managing it really well. Like with this last Spyder update, where we saw efficiency improvements on the loading speed, and it was just an idea that I was going to say. Like if you guys are, I already saw that you're studying this issue, so it's no problem.
Nice, thank you. I think we're about to be done with this call because we are close to the hour. I don't know, problem. Isabella, if you would like, or Hendrik, if you would like to say something, let's go ahead.
I was going to say that I'm finishing the loading for show you guys the framework in Spyder.
Yeah, thanks for talking. It's really impressive you're fixing it and talking to us. Sorry that this is kind of like interviewing you today, but you have very interesting. No. You have great stories to tell. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's really cool because I mean, one of the things that is kind of, I mean, that's something that we mentioned in our last previous call. I mean, we are sort of an indie project because I'm not a professor in a huge university. I don't even have a PhD. I'm trying to finish it right now. And we also don't have contact with, for example, big labs or for example, research groups like yours. So we are developing this, like, I mean, and we try to get a sense of how people is using Spyder from our interactions in the issue tracker. But sometimes, for example, we didn't know that you have, for example, this whole framework built on top of Spyder, and that you benefit a lot, for example, from the huge work that we did in Spyder 5. So it's really great to know that that work paid off for you and probably for a lot of other people that are also building things on top of Spyder right now. So it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you guys for the maintaining Spyder. It's you're doing a very great work, and like for our lab, you can also send me an email or something if you would like to know more about our project. I wouldn't mind telling you guys. I will talk about my professor if you guys want to talk about any more specific questions. And I can ask him, and I can talk to you guys, no problem. Currently with this pandemic, and I'm working from home, so I have more time to work on. Not like I have more time, but I'm currently like with a lot of stuff to do because of that. Like but I can schedule and talk with you guys a meeting if you don't mind. That's no problem.
That would be really cool. I don't know, there was another guy, probably part of your team too, that I mean, he opened several issues.
Yeah,
and it was exactly, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it seems that he had a lot of trouble trying to make the plugins work, and we offered him a meeting to help him to go through, I mean, through the issues that he was having, because it was, I mean, it is kind of hard sometimes to explain issues in writing. I mean, if he needs help with that still, I mean, we could meet with you and with him if.
No problem. He was no problem. He was studying how to implement the panels in the new plugin version, and he is new on the project, so he had a lot of doubts, and he's learning to do the implementing and migrating things. He was responsible for updating from the new plugin version. But it's worked out, and he finished this part. And that's okay. I have another question for you. I don't know. I didn't open an issue for this. It's just like, do you know if there are problems with the kernel, Spyder kernel? Like, it keeps restarting. I searched for issues about that. There were, but I don't know if that's something like are you guys working, because I didn't see any connections on these issues. Like, it was very like the one person has, another one has. I didn't saw the the main problem. It's happening with me, but it's only happening when I load my language server. When my language server is closed, it doesn't help. And I don't really know. I didn't open the issue because I like to open the issues when I know what the problem is. So I don't know. I didn't open one.
There are
just like to know if
there are two problems right now. So one is with the latest Jupyter client version 7. So the thing is that, I mean, if you're using a kernel, I mean, if you're not connecting a Spyder to an external environment, or to an environment that is not the same that the Spyder was installed on, then you will see an error that says that Spyder Kernel Manager doesn't have a certain attribute. That's because in Jupyter Client 7, that attribute was removed. And
okay.
That's one thing, but that should only happen if you are using Spyder 5.0 something, 0.1 through 0.5.
No, we are using 5.1.5.
Okay, so the other problem, but that's something that just appeared last week.
Yes.
It is something that is related to creating plots with Matplotlib. So, but that's unrelated to Spyder. The thing is
Yes,
that,
exactly.
yeah,
It was really unrelated with everything that I saw on the issues. And as the like when I closed my plugin, the language server plugin, the error stopped. I was
uh-huh.
probably I thought that it was something on my end, not on yours. So I tried to tackle this problem, but I couldn't find and
Well,
like
take
a
a look
why.
at this issue. And so the thing is that Anaconda, the company, uploaded a new version of FreeType. So FreeType is a library to, I mean, to render fonts. But the thing is that they uploaded a version that makes Matplotlib crash when you
Hmm.
when you create a plot, and that's something that doesn't happen. I mean, it happens not only on Spyder, but in any interface that tries to create a plot. So
Oh,
Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab,
uh-huh.
or IPython terminal. So the
Yeah.
last comment on that issue, on the one that I sent you, it has the
Hmm.
command to solve the
Yeah,
problem. You simply
I
to
saw it. I
downgrade,
saw it.
exactly, downgrade free type, sorry, and then you will
Mhm.
be, you won't see crashes when creating plots. That's the thing.
Oh, I see it. Um, okay, I'll try that. Thank you, thank you. Sorry for this question. Like, I think it's more
No,
about
it's fine. I mean, that's this community calls are exactly for that kind of thing. So don't worry about it. So
Okay.
I don't know, Hendrik, do you, I mean, is your Spider ready for for us to see how your project works integrated to it?
Yeah, I'm currently loading it now.
Okay, great. Great, great. So let's wait a couple of more minutes after the hour
Yeah.
to do.
Sorry for the delay.
No, don't worry. It's fine. I
Okay.
mean, we of course you were not prepared for. I mean, for
No.
a live demo. Hey, Cam, how are you? So this is
Hey, Carlos.
Cam Gerlach. He's another of our contributors. He's a volunteer contributor. So would you like to introduce yourself while Hendrik loads Spider?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I had to set up all my audio stuff like last minute, so hopefully it all works. Let's increase the levels a bit. Yeah, I'm Cam Gerlach. I've been a Spyder core developer for since the end of 2017. Although I took some breaks off and on during that period. But I initially started out actually just, as anyone else, actually, I was just learning Python. And I was like, well, Spyder seems like a good equivalent to RStudio, which is what I was using with
Yeah.
R previously. And then I found some bugs, actually. I reported them on the issue tracker, and I saw some other users had some questions too. And I started helping them out, and I helped. And because at that time, that was right when Anaconda wasn't able to fund Spyder anymore. So it was mostly just Carlos having to do everything with some help with the others. And poor Carlos, he had to manage all the issues and do all the bug fixes and everything. So I ended up helping out a lot on the issue tracker. And Carlos was like, hey, you want to join the project? Because I'm sure he was very desperate because I was a real noob. And so I joined the project, and I helped with a lot of issues. And eventually I actually began to contribute more code wise, and then I was more did a lot of PR review and smaller code contributions, bug fixes and stuff. And then I kind of had a break for a while, and then I came back and worked on the documentation. And now I'm currently, which I had actually originally set up, I was one of the last big projects I did. And then now I'm still the maintainer of the documentation. I'm helping out with QtPy and with and kind of getting into more things as well. And of course, the website and the website theme. And I still have a little bit on Spyder as well. And I love the community stuff, and I think this is a really cool. This is the first time I've been to a community call, so I'm brand new to
Yeah.
this, but I think it's
Me
really
either.
cool. I'm really happy to meet you, Henrik,
Nice to
and I'm
meet
really
you
happy
too.
to be here. So
Yeah, that's my first community call either. I'm really happy to partake and participate in this project. Like it's a really big one, and I'm helping, and I'm happy to help solve any issues that regarding of that. I didn't really help maintain some code, and I didn't really help the upregulating Spyder to take part in the development like you did. I just helping the stuff related to my research project. That's the bugs that really annoys me and takes time to me to fix. Like if the bug is like difficult in my work, I don't mind trying to fixing it. It's all right.
What research? I'm just curious where you're from,
Okay.
Henrik, and what research do you do?
I'm from Brazil. I'm currently an undergraduate student in the researching in resonance magnetic spectroscopy, and I helped develop the framework that's integrated with Spyder to code the research, the imaging sequence for the spectrometer. Like that's the custom language.
Oh wow! I hadn't hadn't heard of that until now. I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a publishing already papers published about this, but
Oh, wow.
this language is a very new one, so there's probably not very information on the web about it. But you probably will find about the papers about Pizetta's paper.
That's really cool. Do you mind posting a link in the chat to somewhere where we can learn more?
Yeah. Okay.
That's super cool.
I'll take that.
And so I'm actually a NASA-funded researcher here at the NSSDC, which is a collaborative institute between UAH, University of Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and NASA. And my work is actually on, it wasn't what I was doing at the time when I first joined Spyder. I was actually working on.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Isabella is recording the call and she has to leave. So I don't know, Henry, if you're ready. If not, you can join us in our next community call and we will be happy to see your demo. So
yeah,
don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll try to load this now. I think it will. Just let me take that.
Is there a way you can record the call, Carlos?
I was gonna say I don't know that it makes me end
I
it.
think you arrived 1 hour late because we're finishing the call. So
wait,
yeah,
I thought it was 1900.
1900 UTC, but this is 1 p.m. our time.
No, 1900.
Yeah, I think it opened. I can show you guys.
Yes, Cam, yeah. I think you suffer from from the summer change, or the autumn schedule change, because right now, the call started 1 hour ago. But go ahead, Hendrik.
No, okay. I'll try to present the screen.
You may need to ask permission. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Like it may not let you share. I don't know.
I gave you permission.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
sharing now. Can you guys see?
Yeah,
I'm seeing a super cool spider with a bunch of different panes.
Carlos, I looked it up on time.gov, UTC, it's 1910.
Sorry, it was my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I thought, yeah, probably that's then we only have Hendrik now, but go
sorry,
ahead.
I should have confirmed that, but it is 1910 UTC right now. So
yeah, no, you're right. It was my mistake. Sorry.
Yeah, like this is the interface that we currently have. We have the grade buttons here on top, and that we don't have a project opened. I'm opening the research project now. It should probably finish the load, and like it loaded now. It became like colored, like, and the buttons to configure the spectrometer. We have the sequence module, the loop model of the imaging sequence we have on the spectrometer to do like the types of resonance magnetic. Like we have different types of imaging. We can do like TR or TE weighting. We have different kinds of techniques to do a spectroscopy, and we can program the resonance and the magneto and we can program the spectrometer digitally. And we program with this language, the F language, and it helps us to develop the imaging resonance project that we want, the experiment you want to do. So like I implemented the language server that do the verification, like that we can have shim of echo and dim, like there's the semantic error or syntax error and syntax highlighting and these stuffs that I added with the plugin. We can also change the variable about the spectrometer. Like we have another sequence here, and it shows us the information about the receiver, the transmitter. We can change the delays, the time. We can change the panels. Is not very good to interact right now because it was like I said, it wasn't working. I just did that to work with this version. But we have the system variables. We can change the gradient scaling. We can change the voltage of the spectrometer. Like we can control the whole spectrometer for the Spyder panes and panel. And then we can compile these programs that's what we call the experiment. And then we run the experiment on the resonance and with the spectrometer, the digital spectrometer, and then it do the experiment that we want to do, the resonance experiment that we want to do. Sorry about the panes. It's really not organized.
This
Don't
is
worry.
cool. I
No,
was
it's
going to ask.
Incredible. That's incredibly
It's
sophisticated.
impressive. Yeah, it's really impressive.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
We can program individually each receiver and transmitter and everything integrated with Spyder.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool.
And are
Really,
they
really cool.
organized side by side for like are they in an order is what I was wondering, or is this just how you
Yeah,
get up here?
No, that should be in order. Like
In
we
order of
have
like what
the-
you need to make the workflow work that we were
Yes,
talking about
exactly.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And currently I can only share one screen, so it's everything cramped on my screen. But
Right.
Yeah.
normally we will work with more screens, and we
multiple.
can here see all the objects that that these method do, and we can change each one individually. So, and yeah, that's the framework that I was talking about, and this is the restarting kernel
Really nice.
that we have.
That's awesome.
No, it's awesome. Yeah. Thanks
Thank
a lot,
you for
Henry.
getting this working. Yeah, for the surprise demo.
Yeah, no problem. And the last issue that I opened was to sideload the time that this experiment, resonance magnetic experiment, is codes. This code needs to be run in a specific time. Like we have the time is a real time coding. So I would want to know the time that will take the spectrometer to execute this code. So I created this function that calculates the time of this code, and it was done in the server side. So it's a custom command. It's isn't specified in the LSP protocol. So that's why I needed to change as I said, using custom commands to sideload syntax or semantics related to the language server. So this was related to the last issue.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot, Hendrik, for being part of the
Oh, no
call
problem.
and also for showing us this impressive work. And yeah, I think it's amazing what you and your team are doing to extend Spyder and also to manage, I mean, your spectrometer through the Spyder interface. And thanks everyone else for attending. I don't know, Isabella, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I know we started this call talking a little bit about the UI changes, and dare I say, like, it's really awesome to see someone, I know that you're intentionally extending the framework, but right, like seeing that it's matching even as you put different elements in.
Yeah,
building your
as
own
you can
panes is really makes me happy.
Yeah, all the buttons we did try to match the Spyder philosophy of the theme. Everything
right, but it was cool to see, right? You're producing these extra tabs and it's working, and I was like, wow, yes, this is wonderful. So
yeah,
thanks for
yeah,
that.
exactly. And everything is matching with the Spyder panes interface and everything. Yeah, the buttons layouts were really good. And yeah, I think the interface is really good now.
Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Dan, for attending. And sorry for the mismatch in the hour, Cam. Next time I will be. I mean, I thought I checked that correctly, but I don't know.
Carlos, you in time. I keep needing to adjust with the offset between Carlos time and UTC again. I'll have to recalibrate that. But
We have
Yeah,
to finish. So thanks a lot for attending. And especially, I mean, we need to let Isabella go. So thanks a lot, and see you in our next community call in 1 month.
yeah. See you guys. Sorry
See
for the
you.
delay. Thank you.
Don't worry.
See you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
see you guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.